Tonight, a woman killed and police hurt by an accused teen gunman, 16 and allegedly behind the wheel of a stolen car.
Kamala Harris falls on her sword as the Trump team moves into presidential overdrive.
Emergency health warning, temperatures soar as Queensland's heat wave intensifies.
Children under 16 banned from social media, whether they like it or not.
Fresh from Cup glory and newfound fame, Robbie Dolan back in the saddle at Ipswich.
And the wait is over. Bluey's World opens in Brisbane.
Live from Brisbane, 7 News with Max Futcher and Sarah Greenhalgh.
Good evening. There is heartbreak and outrage tonight with a teenage boy in a stolen car accused of killing an innocent woman.
2 police officers were also injured by the 16-year-old who allegedly hijacked the Audi at gunpoint and crashed it in 15 minutes of mayhem.
A split second where 2 worlds collided. One in which a teen was allegedly on the run, wanted for 2 earlier armed robberies and a carjacking.
A female victim was alleged to have had her vehicle stolen at gunpoint.
Another where a 69-year-old woman was innocently going about her morning in Murrumba Downs.
A stolen blue Audi sedan was travelling on Dolly's Rocks Road in Griffin through the intersection of McClintock Street.
Those worlds coming together just before 10 this morning. It's alleged the stolen car ran a red light, ploughing into the woman's white Corolla as she turned right through the intersection.
Unfortunately, in all best efforts of QPS and QAS on scene, the female was unable to be resuscitated and has since passed away.
Police say the 16-year-old allegedly stole the Audi from a woman at gunpoint in Griffin. They were alerted around 10 minutes later when the Audi was spotted driving at high speed. Officers cordoned off the area. 5 minutes after that, the teen allegedly drove through a red light and crashed into the victim's car, not stopping until he speared into an unmarked police vehicle with 2 detectives inside.
2 officers have been injured and have been transported to hospital for treatment.
Detectives believe the teenager was with the people inside this stolen hatchback this morning. It was spotted driving in the area moments before the carjacking. Artist Todd Wisson says the carjacking victim was one of his students on her way to his class when she was targeted.
She noticed these people that looked suspicious in a car behind her, following her. She was saying how I could have been killed today and I hope they catch them.
Police say the boy is known to them and currently has matters before court, although it is understood he wasn't on bail. The Premier says he wants Queenslanders to know his government is prepared to respond as they must and says he will take action.
Adult crime, adult time will be law by Christmas.
Now, Max and Sarah, tonight that 16-year-old boy is under police guard here at the RBWH. He's being treated for a severe leg injury. As for those 2 detectives, we have some good news just through. They have been released from hospital. They have some minor bruising, and police are at pains to point out that they were not pursuing that blue Audi before the crash, nor was it being tracked by the Polair helicopter. They are appealing for any dash cam video or CCTV. So if anyone has either of those of the incident, can they please come forward?
Katrina Blowers at Hurston. The world is bracing for Donald Trump's second stint in the White House after Kamala Harris officially conceded election defeat. Trump has now swept all crucial swing states and won the popular vote, leaving Harris no choice but to fall on her sword.
It's the moment that broke Democratic hearts.
Good afternoon.
If they hadn't already.
But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory.
And it was crushing. Harris humiliated, but still hanging on to this.
My heart is full today, full of gratitude for the trust you have placed in me, full of love for our country. While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
A campaign that's now being torn to shreds as too woke and distracted.
Far less than 1% of American voters are ever going to have to deal with abortion directly or indirectly. all voters have to deal with inflation.
The economy always ranked number one among voters.
This will truly be the golden age of America.
And at the Bantam Chef in the mountains of North Carolina, they're eating it up.
Feel great. The right man won.
Feeling great. Get this country back where it needs to be.
What was wrong with it before?
Democrats.
I am so proud of the race we ran and the way we ran it.
Which has left many wondering how she couldn't beat a convicted fraudster, felon and sex offender who was impeached twice last time he was in office. But this might explain it. Trump increasing his support among Latinos, a huge gain, as well as black, Asian and women voters. More younger Americans love him too.
Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power.
And the long Democratic knives are out. Joe Biden blamed for not letting go earlier, and a policy package that voters weren't buying, handing Republicans the White House, the Senate, and now quite possibly the House of Representatives on a platter.
We owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States.
From former Democratic presidents, Barack Obama, progress requires us to extend good faith and grace even to people with whom we deeply disagree. And Bill Clinton, we need to solve our problems and seize our opportunities together. The future of our country depends on it.
Many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country.
Donald Trump's legal nightmares are also dissolving. His arch-enemy, Special Prosecutor Jack Smith, will drop 2 federal cases against him, one for trying to overturn the last election. And the judge who convicted him of fraud for paying off a porn star could now delay sentencing, possibly forever.
We're going to help our country heal.
He's clearly racist, homophobic.
I see him as a dictator.
For now, the Trump team is already interviewing cabinet hopefuls and planning its move into the White House as Kamala Harris throws a few final punches from the canvas.
A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results.
Well, this electoral routing is a reality check for Democrats. It's already forcing a hard rethink of a party that's been found to be out of touch and out of step with the majority of Americans.
May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. I thank you all.
And US Bureau Chief David Woodward is in Washington, D.C. tonight. David, a massive defeat for the Democrats on multiple fronts. So what happens now?
Good evening. Well, Democrats just continue to lick their wounds tonight after this crushing defeat as attention now turns to that transition process. And in just a few hours' time, US President Joe Biden, with that in mind, will be making an address to the nation. Now, it's been confirmed too that President Biden has invited President-elect Trump to the White House in the coming weeks to assist with that transition process. And of course, that is a courtesy that Trump did not afford Biden just 4 years ago. This is really Democrats attempting to take that high road and prove yet again that elections can be run, won and conceded in the United States without chaos and violence.
David Wood there in Washington. 7 News has uncovered damning comments from the Prime Minister about Donald Trump from 3 years ago, which may come back to bite. Anthony Albanese trying to turn a page today, picking up the phone to say congratulations to the incoming Commander-in-Chief.
They've never met in person, but today Anthony Albanese rang Donald Trump for the first time.
And I congratulated him on his election victory.
It was, he says, a constructive conversation affirming a close and strong relationship.
And I look forward to working with President Trump in the future in the interests of both of our nations.
Including on AUKUS, a far cry from this.
He scares the shit out of me.
And 7 News can reveal these previously unreported remarks to a Perth think tank, criticising
President Trump's incitement of the storming of the Capitol, when President Trump sought
to undermine the democratic process.
And slamming Mr Trump's foreign policy.
Under President Trump, we saw the first steps in a retreat by the US from its historical role as the leader of the post-war international order. It appeared the US was no longer interested in being the indispensable power.
Do you feel that you need to apologise for some of the things you've said about Donald Trump in the past?
No, I'd look forward to working with President Trump.
Kevin Rudd was even more pointed before becoming ambassador to Washington, calling Donald Trump barking mad, nuts, and the most destructive president in history, all deleted from his Twitter feed overnight.
This has been done to eliminate the possibility of such comments being misconstrued.
Foreign Minister Penny Wong confident she's in the clear.
I don't have anything to delete.
Though there is this.
We have seen in recent times a leader who was prepared to damage alliances and partnerships, and that was Donald Trump.
This morning, more diplomatic.
Congratulations to Donald Trump. We certainly look forward to working with him.
And 7 News can reveal that in that conversation today, Donald Trump told Anthony Albanese that the US and Australia were, quote, perfect friends, unquote. Friendly enough, the Albanese government hopes to spare us again from his threatened tariffs on imports, irrespective of who has said what about Donald Trump in the past. Sarah.
Thanks, Mark. The Health Department has issued an emergency warning as Queensland's extreme heat wave intensifies.
Temperatures are soaring as much as 10 degrees above average, with any reprieve still days away.
A midday mirage, the haze settling over wheat fields out west as the mercury tipped toward 40 degrees.
Geez, I'd hate to be outside. I'd hate to be actually working.
Here in Dalby, it was retailers in town offering some refuge.
Aircon in the shop.
From sizzling paddocks to a balmy big smoke. It's not even summer, but it certainly feels like this could be the turning point, marking the annual resurgence of seasonal traditions.
We've only got fans in the bedroom, so it's much nicer to come down to the pool and cool off for an hour or two at lunchtime.
According to the Bureau, we're officially in a heat wave, Brisbane reaching 30.7 degrees, Ipswich 36.8 and Longreach the hottest place in the state at 44.2 degrees. Temperatures in some parts of the state up to 10 degrees above average.
No, it can't be, no. Well, it probably can be. Yeah, but this is boiling already.
But no records broken yet.
For many areas, particularly parts of the northwest, we're looking at areas seeing temperatures 40 degrees and above for the next several days, in fact, and that could be a November record.
With hot winds still sweeping western parts of the state, fire crews remain on high alert, and dry lightning strikes overnight have created perfect bushfire conditions, meaning firefighters who successfully contained the Dirranbandi blaze overnight still aren't off the hook. And with conditions in the southeast set to peak tomorrow, any shade will be good shade, and hydration is key.
You know, the beer's still wet and cold.
With forecasters saying this is all a taste of what's to come. Jordan Bissell, 7 News.
Yep, it was a stinker, so let's go to meteorologist Tony Auden now. Tony, tomorrow promises to be even hotter.
Yes, it does, Max. It does promise to be the hottest day of the next week for the southeast at least. We're looking at mid to high 30s, pushing all the way to the coast, while western parts of the state will still have to deal with those 40-degree plus conditions shown in the brown shades here for a few more days at least. Now, the heat combined with a trough should help fuel more storms across the southeastern quarter of the state into tomorrow afternoon and evening. There is a decent chance of some severe cells, so please watch for any warnings. I'll be back soon with the forecast.
Thanks, Tony. See you soon. 2 people are dead and 6 others have been injured in what paramedics have described as a chaotic scene on the Cunningham Highway. 2 trucks crashed around 2:20 this morning, instantly killing the driver and passenger in one of the vehicles.
All the responding agencies find this very difficult, especially when there's walking wounded and fatalities.
The Cunningham Highway is still closed 16 hours after the horror crash.
Broncos legend Wendell Sailor is accused of assaulting 2 people and intimidating another at a Sydney bar overnight. Security video shows the moment the 50-year-old was confronted by police after staff called 000 around 11 o'clock.
He started getting aggressive with customers and the staff, coming from downstairs to upstairs. Police were called because he wouldn't leave when he was asked to leave.
Is Wendell welcome back here for a drink?
Definitely not.
He's facing 5 charges, including common assault, intimidation and offensive behaviour. Sailor was granted conditional bail to face court later this month.
Shock jock Ray Hadley is pulling the plug on his radio career.
The big call came on the same day 2GB's parent company, Nine Entertainment, publicly vowed to take action over unacceptable behaviour.
A shock jock sends shock waves.
December 13 will be my last day.
Ray Hadley to leave 2GB after 2 decades at the top.
It's time. It's time.
With 2 years left on his contract.
It was always left to me and management. If they wanted me to go, I agreed I'd go.
Denying they did want him to go after an investigation at parent company Nine revealed widespread workplace bullying.
There are questions about the timing due to the review of culture at Nine. Is it anything to do with that?
No, certainly not. I mean, no, not in the slightest.
From Dundas Housing Commission to driving a cab, Hadley went from traffic reporter to being unbeaten in the radio ratings for 21 years. A champion for everyday Aussies and a voice for the underdog, his audience was loyal.
I've had great success and I thought I'd go out while I was winning.
The 70-year-old earning a reported $3.5 million a year.
If I could sum up his professional career in one word, I would say it's fearless.
And feared, with historic public bullying allegations always vehemently denied by Hadley, a former 2GB staffer claiming Hadley subjected him to 16 years of intense bullying, out-of-control sheer rage and gaslighting. Others have made claims or taken legal action, one referring to a blistering, shrieking tirade.
Is he a bully?
I've never worked with Ray. I have no reason to think that he would be.
I've learned a lot from him. I've had plenty of blues with him over the years as well.
From one rival,
Hadley has been a great copier. I didn't know he'd copy me to this extent, but when I said I was going to retire, that he'd retire. But thank you, Ray. Thank you very much.
Today's announcement comes as Nine holds its annual general meeting with a toxic workplace culture top of the agenda.
We have made it very clear that there will be consequences for people engaging in such conduct.
In the audience and in agreement, the former chairman's brother.
It's time for this to stop. This is the Me Too movement arriving.
Amelia Brace, 7 News.
The cost of 3 minor venues for the 2032 Olympics has blown out by $181 million in less than a year, and construction hasn't even started. It includes the Chandler and Sunshine Coast indoor sports centres and the Sunshine Coast Stadium.
Why did the Labor Party hide these figures from Queenslanders when I was able to ascertain by asking one question to my department, what was the cost and what's the projected estimate cost?
The new government also plans to look at the Commonwealth funding agreement as part of its 100-day review of the Games.
From Melbourne Cup glory at Flemington to 38-degree heat in Ipswich, Robbie Dolan was back in the saddle today, bringing the Cup to Queensland to the delight of local racegoers.
Turning punters into paparazzi.
Not bad little cup, is it?
A slight understatement for an all-time upset.
I don't think it'll ever sink in, to be honest. Actually, it's just sunk in. It feels bloody good, I'll tell you that much.
Robbie Dolan honouring a promise today in Ipswich, getting back on the horse just days after riding Knight's Choice to Melbourne Cup glory.
It's a photo finish. Knight's Choice, I reckon's won from warp speed and a photo.
I said before the race, if I win the Melbourne Cup, I won't be riding at Ipswich, but look, at the end of the day, it's my job. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't see a footballer score a winning goal and be like, nah, I don't want to play next week.
It's not quite the same as a rendition with Ronan, but these race fans are happy he stayed true.
I was trying to get here before the first so I could catch him on his way in.
I had no idea what was happening, to be honest. Oh, he's got the Melbourne Cup. I know what's going on. It's not every day you get to see a Melbourne Cup in the flesh. You know, I don't even know if the Melbourne Cup's ever been at Ipswich Racecourse before.
Robbie's life changed forever that day at Flemington, to the point where even here in Ipswich on a scorching day, he's treated as royalty.
He wasn't given any favours, the Cup winner finishing third in his first race, mates reminding him heavy is the head that wears racing's crown.
I thought if I beat Robbie, I'm going to lean over and say, I got you, mate. Jack said, I was thinking about saying, you're not in the Melbourne Cup now, son, when you're coming past.
He did win the last race of the afternoon.
I think I was born for this, to be honest.
And he's making a habit of it. Ned Balm, 7 News.
Keeping it real with a third at Ipswich. Love it.
Could have been hot.
Yeah, Australian children will soon be banned from social media. Next, the world first legislation to protect our kids.
A reckless driver leaves 2 officers injured in a casino car park.
The bombshell announcement from Ray Gun.
And later, fans take their first step inside Bluey's world. Two police officers have been rammed by a reckless driver tearing out of a casino car park. This is the moment the chaos unfolded at the Star Gold Coast.
Turn the car off. Turn the car off.
Body cam video shows the ute returning and driving at an officer as he tried to jump out of the way. A second officer was hit in the hand as the car took off again. Both officers were treated for minor injuries. The Hilux was later spotted heading towards Logan with a manhunt tonight underway.
In a world first, the Albanese government is moving to ban social media for teenagers under 16.
While the Prime Minister admits it won't be foolproof, he claims it will give parents the upper hand to keep children from harm.
Parents who carry the real pain, the tragic impact of social media. Rob Evans' daughter Liv took her own life at 15.
The downward spiral that she went on with social media around her body image.
Greta says her anorexia was fuelled by toxic images online.
When you're 14, you're insecure and so you're just so vulnerable.
Their campaign to protect children direct to the Prime Minister.
124,000 signatures that we now have.
This one's for the mums and dads.
Announcing new laws to ban social media for kids under 16.
I want parents to be able to say, sorry mate, it's against the law.
Banned even if they already have an account, and even if parents say it's okay. There'd be no penalties for users.
The onus will be on social media platforms to demonstrate they are taking reasonable steps to prevent access.
The penalties for platforms that don't are still to be revealed, with a trial on the best way to verify someone's age while protecting their privacy is still to be finalised. It goes to National Cabinet tomorrow, Parliament later this month, to take effect in a year. The opposition has long called for a ban.
We want to ensure that the legislation is strong, that there aren't loopholes.
Social media giants arguing kids do need to learn how to use it.
Banning teenagers from social media is a 20th century response to 21st century challenges.
For Liv's dad, it's change to give children a chance.
These laws would have protected her.
Paul Carjacking, 7 News.
There will be no encore from Ray Gun, with the Olympian vowing to never compete again. Her retirement shock has shone a light on the dark side of fame that's followed her in the wake of her controversial performance in Paris.
It was really upsetting because I felt like I just didn't have any control over how people saw me or who I was.
The 37-year-old blames the tidal wave of criticism for her decision.
A health insurance loophole is allowing Queensland families to save thousands of dollars every year. We'll tell you the simple hack slashing premiums. Don't miss that story, coming up soon.
Also, hiding in plain sight, how 2 thieves got into a Gold Coast home in a Cup Day raid.
Why a major supermarket is pulling knives from its shelves.
Roosters rescued as police swoop on a regional property.
And your guide to a Super Saturday of auctions. Two thieves, disguised as gardeners, have broken into a Gold Coast home, escaping with a haul worth thousands of dollars. Security video shows the pair creeping inside while the Benoa homeowners were out watching the Melbourne Cup. 5 minutes later, they made their escape, clutching handbags and jewellery.
Around this area, we've had a lot of issues with break-ins. We've tried with the local security, but they keep doing it.
No arrests have been made.
The Albanese government has acted quickly to reinstate its regime of ankle bracelets and curfews for former immigration detainees after the High Court yesterday ruled it was unconstitutional. The Home Affairs Minister has visited the Governor-General to introduce new regulations.
These visa conditions are designed to protect the community, not as a punitive measure.
The coalition is considering whether it will support new laws that back up the regulations. A major supermarket is restricting the sale of knives in a major crime crackdown.
They're now unavailable in dozens of stores across the country to help protect communities where knife crime is rife.
Team members and of course our customers.
The ban applies to 26 stores nationwide, including in the city, Coles on Queen Street, also in Sydney's Bondi Junction, where 6 people were fatally stabbed earlier this year.
We hear from our team members, we hear from the community that they would rather not have them in those stores because of particular incidents that have occurred.
I think it's a good idea, actually.
I think it's a little bit of overreaction.
350 Woolworths stores across the country also no longer stock knives, prompted by a stabbing attack at a Melbourne checkout in 2021. Victoria and Queensland have some of the strictest knife laws in the country, with retailers only able to sell them to people over the age of 18.
They're available at many retailers across Australia and they should be available, but I think it's important for retailers to be conscious of what's going on.
Sarah Jones, 7 News.
Police and the RSPCA have raided a Rockhampton property, finding dozens of roosters in cages with limited water supply and unsanitary conditions. Officers seized the roosters as well as 3 dogs.
We are all now detained under provisions of the Police Powers Responsibility Act. It means you're not free to move around.
Police say they also found drugs and stolen vehicles. 4 people were arrested and charged with various offences.
It's a stark reminder of life in a war zone when a rocket spearing into a car is considered a lucky escape. This is in central Israel, where locals took selfies in front of the Hezbollah rocket fired from Lebanon. It was one of 10, which Israeli Defence Force says was intercepted with this huge chunk described as shrapnel. No injuries were reported.
Spring selling season is in full swing with one of the busiest auction weekends ahead of us. Angelique Opie has your guide to a Super Saturday.
Close to 2,900 homes in Australia are going under the hammer this weekend. If all go ahead, it will be the 3rd busiest auction week of the year. There are more than 170 auctions scheduled in Brisbane, slightly below last week, where the city saw 180 auctions. It's still proving to be quite the buyer's market in Brisbane, with one of the lowest clearance rates, the number of homes selling at auction in Australia. Plenty of choice across the Brisbane City Council area with 130 listings, 18 in Logan and 12 in Moreton Bay.
Thanks, Angelique. Bluey's World is officially open. Next, what fans thought of the famous Healers family home.
Also, a surge in porch pirates targeting Christmas parcels.
See the break-in that quickly backfired.
And on tonight's Sunny Side, the viral sensation starting to ruffle a few feathers.
Mail theft is surging ahead of the holiday season. New research from Finder estimates nearly 22,000 parcels bought during Black Friday sales will be stolen. It finds 4 million Australians have had a parcel lost or stolen in the past year. Online customers are urged to send deliveries to secure locations.
Wackadoo, the wait is over. Bluey's World has finally opened at the North Shore Pavilion in Hamilton, and the hit show's favourite characters were on hand to welcome the first families through the door.
4-year-old Charlotte meets Bluey and Bingo. The world's most famous Healer family wowing fans in Brisbane, posing for photos before heading inside to throw open the doors of Bluey's World.
And that is Bluey's house. We're about to head inside Bluey's World right now.
The 70-minute immersive experience takes people through the hit TV show's iconic Queenslander, brought to life in Bluey's hometown, Brisbane.
Where is Bluey? Where's Bluey?
we go?
I can't think of another series or movie that represents Australia and Brisbane, Queensland better than Bluey.
These families the first through at the soft opening this morning.
Well, we're from Melbourne. We happened to be here this week for holidays and I thought it was opening today, so we go home tomorrow, so we just made it.
And it was hard to say who was more wackadoo for Bluey, the kids or the adults. Mum Rain says Bandit and Chili have helped show that parents aren't perfect.
There's a scene where she goes, I just need 20 minutes. I feel like it really resonates to that.
Bluey's World officially opens on Tuesday, and that's when more of the magic that awaits inside will be revealed. Tickets start around $50 bucks and are available until September next year, meaning there's plenty of chances to grab a mate and step inside Bluey's World. Rosanna Kingson, 7 News.
A simple robbery went sensationally wrong for a thief who got locked inside the business he was targeting. The suspect broke into the Adelaide Mechanics on Monday morning and raided the drawers for cash, but then he got stuck. The accused thief eventually smashed his way out and is still on the run.
Christmas is going to look a little different across Brisbane this year with new decorations, a nightly parade and light display. There are plenty of free events for all the family. Don't miss those details just ahead.
Sport time now, and Ben, Christmas could look a little different for our cricketers.
Yeah, some good, some bad. G'day everyone. The bat-off is back, but the sequel has some twist plots. Batters go bang, but so does the hamstring of Queensland's best bowler. And a 7 exclusive, the words from Gordon Tallis that helped create a Jillaroos milestone. The test fortunes of 2 Queenslanders took different paths today after making national selectors sit up and take notice. While Michael Neser hobbled from the MCG after tearing apart India A's top order, Nathan McSweeney's opener audition was mixed.
His first crack at batting number 1.
Oh, good shot from McSweeney.
And that's all that could be heard around the MCG.
Another short one. Wow, what a shot that was.
Cover drives, pull shots. The 25-year-old from Brisbane looked at home.
That is a shot of a man in form.
Penciled in to be our next opener. The biro isn't out just yet. This on 14.
There's the edge and he's out.
His rival for the part?
Shot.
Marcus Harris unbeaten on 26, chasing 161 after McSweeney sent India A in. Third ball.
Each one gets a nasty one. There he's caught!
Before the batting debate reignited, Michael Neser extinguished any questions on who's our next bowler.
He's gone for his ball! Michael Neser is on a hat-trick.
In 16 balls of chaos. He'd finish with 4 for 27, hoping his summer isn't cruelly cut down by a hamstring injury. As he enters rehab, Queensland teammate Xavier Bartler's out of it, part of Australia's one-day squad, where opener Jake Fraser-McGurk's refusing to dial things back.
You know, the game's changing and that's sort of the way we want to play our cricket, is really take on those first 10 overs instead of sort of, you know, scrapping to 240, 250, which aren't really winnable scores.
Game 2 against Pakistan's tomorrow in Adelaide. In Perth, Grace Harris is doing everything she can to chase down the Thunder's 170.
Harris swings and hits a mighty blow down the ground for 6.
Good stuff. 10 overs down, the Heat's leading run scorer in WBBL will need to be there near the end after her Aussie teammate Phoebe Lichtfield and is sold out, the first time in 3 decades for a league international in Sydney. But it'll be a sea of Tongan red greeting the Kangaroos and their rookie fullback who's looking to ice a career best season.
A 4th straight premiership with Penrith, a Blues Origin Series win, victory in Sunday's Pacific Championship final would cap a stellar season for fullback Dylan Edwards.
Personally, it's been a great year, and as Team Success, it's been awesome too.
Edwards debuted in last year's Pacific Championships. Australia humbled 30-0 by New Zealand in the final. Sunday against Tonga, redemption.
You just don't want to let your country down. You don't want to let the jersey down.
Apart from Sunday's fan day here in Wyong, the Kangaroos all week have pretty much trained in front of no one, unlike Tonga.
Sort of like a pinch yourself moment.
Sunday's sellout crowd bound to boast a bigger sea of red than a Donald Trump rally.
They're a passionate fan base and they've got a great deal of fans, especially out in Western Sydney. I imagine it's going to be a sea of red come game time.
This just represents what my family came to Australia for, you know. They come here for a better life.
No secret to success, a fast start, size on Tonga's side.
We haven't won anything yet. You know, this is the game that counts.
It's one in the trenches. You're going to have to get your hands dirty.
Andrew McKinlay, 7 News.
Jillaroos coach Brad Donald believes his side can emulate the success of the Matildas and become household names at their home World Cup in 2026. Tonight, 7 News takes you inside their camp.
Being the best in the world takes blood, sweat and tears. This is a sneak peek inside the Jillaroos camp in the Blue Mountains. Fake newspapers lined the wall with headlines this team want to create.
We want to come out of the other side of that 2026 World Cup, not just as World Cup champions, but with a number of household names.
Brad Donald already thinking about the home World Cup, where he believes the side can emulate the success of another women's side.
There was no prouder moment than watching my 16 and 19-year-old sons cheer the Matildas on with their mates.
Ali Brigginshaw will play her 25th test against the Kiwis on Sunday. It's a moment with none other than Gordon Tallis from her very first test match that reminds her how far the women's game has come.
He came to present our jerseys and he just picked them up, looked at them, it's like, there's no coat of arms, and we said, yeah, we're not allowed to wear them. And he said, you will not play unless you wear the coat of arms.
Jaleesa Apps, 7 News.
Inside intel could be the difference in Sunday's AFLW qualifying final at Icon Park. The Lions' former midfield coach Daniel Webster is now in charge at Hawthorn, something the Premiers could exploit.
When it comes to finals footy, that pressure and chaos and preventing the opposition from getting their game going is pretty important. It's something that we've done plenty of times before.
Yeah, also distracting the Hawks' criticism of their $1 million payday for edging Brisbane in the McClellan Trophy. They only played 3 other top 8 sides. The Lions weren't one of them.
You can't ignore the comments that you get, and there's definitely been some people commenting about how Brisbane probably they thought they were deserving winners.
Hawthorn bring with them an 8-game winning streak. Plenty of goals in this match. Both teams average about 7 a game, so it is going to be helter-skelter on Sunday. And, of course, live and free here on 7.
Something to look forward to. Thanks, Ben. Let's get a quick check of finance now. The ASX 200 has closed up 27 points. Shares in Sigma Healthcare soared 25% after its merger with Chemist Warehouse was approved, and $1 Australian is currently buying 66.21 US cents.
Christmas celebrations in Brisbane will look a bit different this year, with some new additions to the city's festive calendar. Samantha Heathwood explains.
There'll be an extra sprinkling of joy this festive season with a whole host of new additions to Council's free Christmas in Brisbane program. For the first time in 5 years, there'll be new decorations, a nightly parade and a light display, which officially kicks off with the lighting of the Christmas tree on November 29. At the newly opened Queen's Wharf, there's a free light and sound experience that'll run for 10 nights from December 4. And there'll be more Christmas cheer at Southbank Parklands with a new Christmas maze and festive favourites like the Enchanted Garden at Roma Street Parklands and the Lord Mayor's Christmas carols on Saturday, December 7, which will be streamed live into Victoria Park.
Thanks, Sam. It's a health insurance hack. Next, we can reveal the loophole that'll save you thousands of dollars.
And hot and stormy tomorrow, but what can we expect over the weekend? I'll have the forecast after the break.
A little-known private health insurance hack could save families thousands of dollars a year.
Parents are kicking kids off the family policy too soon, meaning they're missing out on major savings.
Mother Christina has cracked a health insurance loophole.
It'll save a lot of people a lot of money.
She took advantage of a little-known change allowing children to remain on their parents' policy until they turn 31.
So they've cancelled their other policies and they're with me now. It does help. Every dollar helps.
Many health insurers have kept quiet about the money-saving opportunity. Health plans for singles can cost up to 161% more than a family plan.
For an average family of 4, so parents and 2 adult children, you could save up to $1,700 a year being on a family policy.
The savings increase with each eligible child to up to $7,000 for 4 children.
Not only can you save quite a lot of money as a family, you can actually afford to take out better coverage for everyone.
Adult kids don't need to live with their parents or even be in the same state to stay on the family plan. But they can't be married in a de facto relationship or have any children.
I was quite happy because I didn't think that they'd be able to cover Tiana because she was living out of home, but no, they did.
There's only one warning.
Making sure that your adult kids are willing to cough up their part of their health insurance and those parents aren't covering it themselves.
Georgia Holland, 7 News.
Weather now, Tony. We're in for an unsettled finish to the week.
Yes, we are, Max. Temperatures set to bump up even further tomorrow with a risk of severe storms around too, but there is some relief in sight if you're over this heat. Now, this shot from Wynnum just after sunrise. You can almost feel that heat starting to build by the minute. Ipswich and Beaudesert were hottest today on 37 degrees, Toowoomba 36, and early sea breezes kept the Gold Coast into the high 20s. Now, onto the forecast chart. We could see a little bit of activity moving across the southeast overnight. Then this trough ambles east tomorrow, squeezing a band of hotter air towards us and also triggering this area of afternoon showers and storms again into tomorrow. Across the nation tomorrow, well, you won't escape the heat if you're headed to Sydney. Sunshine and 30 degrees, but a very different story further south. Melbourne 20, Hobart just 17 degrees with a couple of showers around. Back home to Queensland, large areas continue to experience severe to extreme heatwave ratings tomorrow. Now, these conditions can quickly become dangerous, so please plan to keep cool. Now, the heat is keeping fire dangers up at high levels for much of the state, as shown in these yellow shades here. For the tropics tomorrow, not too much change, mostly sunny and hot, a treble of 32s for Cairns, Townsville and Mackay. Heading south, also hot. Then we need to watch for those storms really starting to build over the Maranoa and Warrego and the ranges into the afternoon. Toowoomba tracking for 33 degrees. In the southeast, we're looking at a steamy night with some possible overnight thundery rain. Then an even hotter day before we need to watch for more storms and potential severe cells into the afternoon and evening. Those numbers staying high right across the suburbs. We're looking at a steamy night. As I've mentioned, 23 degrees the minimum, up to 35 for Ferny Grove and also Kenmore. Out on Moreton Bay, northerly winds continue, but not quite as strong as recent days. We're looking at that 15 to 20 knot range and an early low tide just after 7 a.m. So in Brisbane, don't be shy with the fan or the aircon both tonight or overnight. Or tomorrow rather, 24 up to 33 degrees over the next day. Then, of course, keeping an eye out for afternoon or evening storms, and they could pack a punch. Now, looking further ahead, quieter on the weekend. We could see the odd late shower or storm, not as strong, 32 Saturday, 30 on Sunday. In Ipswich, starting to cool down over the weekend, just 35 Saturday, 32 degrees Sunday. Gold Coasters, 28 on Sunday. Then wet weather starting to pick up again into Monday and Tuesday. Heavier showers and maybe even some rain on the way. On the Sunshine Coast, also going from hot and stormy to a wetter start next week. But guys, between all of that, we missed the worst of the heat, storms and rain over the weekend at least.
Thank goodness. Thanks for that, Tony. Yeah, now to tonight's sunny side. And Australia's most popular penguin has a new look. Pesto's adult feathers can now be seen underneath his famous brown fluff.
What's left of his baby fur has formed into a makeshift coat as the TikTok star waddles into adulthood. Pesto's popularity has exploded after pop stars Katy Perry and Olivia Rodrigo paid him a visit.
Does look like a fur coat now.
Doesn't need it now at the moment with this weather.
True. That's all from us this Thursday. Thanks for your company.
For now, from all the team, good night.
Good night.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want. Download now.